You put in the hours, you do the tedious daily work, and yet you have absolutely nothing to show for it. There is a specific tension that comes from pouring energy into a project while everyone else's garden seems to be blooming overnight. Imagine two people, Jack and Ben. They each prepare an identical plot of land, plant a seed, and apply the exact same daily effort. They water their dirt every single morning. By week 3, their paths diverge. Ben walks out to find a thriving, vibrant green sprout in his garden. Jack walks out to find wet dirt. This is the point where most people quit. When you put in the same input as someone else but see a different output, the logical conclusion is that something is wrong. You assume the strategy is flawed or that your seed is broken. This creates a gap between the effort spent and the results visible on the surface. It forces us to examine why some systems, and some human ambitions, require a phase where growth remains entirely internal. The difference is found in the species of the seeds. Ben was growing an apple tree. Jack was growing a mango. This split-screen diagram illustrates what we can call the apple strategy. The seed prioritizes immediate, visible growth above the soil. It rapidly pushes a thin shoot upward to capture sunlight as quickly as possible. This fast growth strategy is effective for immediate survival, but there is a trade-off. Because it invested so little in its base, the organism is restricted to a modest size and relatively lightweight fruit. The mango strategy operates on a different premise. A mango tree is an evolutionary heavy hitter. It is designed to become a massive, structurally imposing organism that yields heavy fruit. Massive systems present a mechanical problem. If a heavy organism tries to push a sprout above ground before it has a stable foundation, the entire structure will collapse under its own weight the moment it encounters resistance. When building something large, immediate visible progress is actually a structural liability. It necessitates a delayed timeline. To see what that timeline looks like, we have to look below the soil line. This cross-section shows what Jack's mango seed is doing during those weeks of apparent stagnation. It is sending a thick, complex taproot deep into the earth while leaving the surface untouched. This is biological investment. The organism delays above-ground gratification to build a massive, invisible infrastructure. Every drop of water Jack provides is being put to work. 100% of the daily nutrients and energy are routed exclusively downward into the extremities of this root network. Nothing is wasted, but nothing is sent to the surface. This is where human psychology clashes with biology. It takes discipline to continue watering a patch of empty dirt without a feedback loop of success to verify the work. But if Jack stops watering because he can't see any leaves, that massive, vulnerable underground system immediately dries out and dies. Maintaining these daily inputs is a mechanical requirement. A massive system cannot survive the construction of its own foundation without that consistent resource flow. Then, usually around month 2, the infrastructure is complete, the taproot is locked in, and the mango seed finally breaks the surface. This graph charts exactly what happens next. The steady rise is the apple. The second line is the mango. Because of its pre-built taproot, its growth is explosive. It rapidly eclipses the apple tree, growing taller and producing heavier fruit. This biological trajectory mirrors the human experience. An absence of visible progress is rarely an absence of actual growth. If you feel stuck while others rack up quick wins, you are often operating in the underground phase, building the heavy infrastructure required for a much larger, long-term goal. You cannot compare an invisible mango timeline to a visible apple timeline. True giants require deep roots. Trust the process and keep watering the dirt.